come to save the day.
Welcome to Mighty House. This is a radio show for people with problems, home improvement problems, that is, and for people who want common sense guidance on how to build green and live a more sustainable lifestyle. Send an email. The Mighty House crew is on the job. This is Mighty House.
All right, we're back, and today we got our buddy. We called him in, Mike Nowak. We want to know what's going on with this smoke. Is it going to hurt our plants? All the work we've been putting in the yard. What's it going to do to us? But before we do that, click on the subscribe button and dingle on the bell, because you never know. We'll post something else soon, and you can figure it out what we're doing. So with that, Mr. Nowak, sir, great having you with us today.
Yes, great to be back with you guys. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a couple days. So,
At
at least in the Chicago and Midwest area here, we've got a lot of smoke. It's really hazy in the mornings. The sun, it looks like it's getting ready to rain. It's just so cloudy, but it's not clouds. It's smoke. It's this heavy, thick smoke. And I don't know, you can tell me, but it seems like it's keeping the temperatures down too. It's not getting as warm throughout the days as it probably should be at the end of June.
I think they're a little bit. It's contributing to that. There are other factors. We're not in the heat dome that is occupying much of the country right now. Thank goodness, boy. Yeah. And we get the Lake Michigan breeze here in Chicago, and we've had a lot of that this spring and early summer.
Right.
The wind blowing off the lake. It's terrific. If you're by the lake, it's really nice. 70s and 80s. Very good stuff. But then yesterday I walked outside and I looked around. I went, wow, kind of hazy today. And wait a second. Oh no, I can actually smell the smoke. Oh no, that's not very good. That's a bad sign. Wow. It just knocked me on my butt. Just the whole idea that that's all blowing in, wrapping around from Quebec.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy the distance that it's coming in at. You know, it's the distance from Chicago, but that wind is coming straight over the lake. Suppose it keeps the mosquitoes in check.
But it's not just us. It might, that's a good point. Maybe it does. I don't know. But it's not just us, obviously. It's Milwaukee, it's Madison, Detroit, and now it's going east again, going to wrap around so that the East Coast is going to get that. It's just something. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for putting up the map there, Ron. Do you have your meteorological degree, Ron? Don't you need one of those to use this?
No. So you've got this one, and both of these shots that I've got, screenshots, are from weather.com, just to give them credit. And this is as of today, which is the 28th of June, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see we're right in the thick of the heavy smoke there. And it actually, as soon as you get off the lake, about 20 miles, it actually gets worse than what it is right along the lake too.
I was wondering about that because by the lake, and I'm pretty close to the lake, within about 3 or 4 miles.
Right.
It doesn't seem that bad. I mean, yeah, I saw the cityscape, which you can almost not see.
Right.
And smelled the smoke, but I wondered how bad it would be inland. So it's worse there, eh?
Well, that's what Tommy Skillett had said, on the news when he shows his map, that it's worse, that the smoke is actually thicker and heavier when you get out to the collar counties.
Well, we have these plumes of smoke coming in from Canada and they're wrapping around the Midwest. Let's get the map up here and take a look. Oh, by the way, here's a photo from a friend of ours in Kankakee who sent this in today.
So, so we've all this smoke. You can see where it's coming from. Now, is there anything we should be doing with our garden? It doesn't seem like my tomato plants are growing like they should. The cucumbers, the lettuces seem to be doing really good, but
they're a cool season plant, and as long as we've had cool weather, they like that. They don't need as much sun. The lettuces and some of the brassicas that you grow in your yard. cabbages and so forth. It's kind of interesting. I did a little reading on this, and the effect of this smoke is to diminish the rays of the sun. They found in most cases, the maximum effect is about 4%, which is not a lot. I mean,
That's it.
That's it. Now, of course, it depends where you are. Here in the Midwest, where we're getting the wraparound smoke from Canada, it's not that thick. I mean, imagine if you're actually up there and you're dealing with the smoke. That's a different story. So here, where we're getting the smoke and it's dimming the sun a little bit, and we're getting a haze, but it's not like billowing clouds of dark smoke that have covered our backyards. So in our area, it's probably true that it's only reducing the sun by about 4%. And the other thing it's doing, it's diffusing the light. I read one report, actually a couple of reports, where they said it might actually be better for photosynthesis because all of a plant is now getting light because it's diffused. So they're getting light equally. So some plants might actually be doing better. Now, that said, that's not going to be the case with a lot of plants, especially if you have thicker smoke and for a much longer time. We're only going to get this for a few days, and then we're going to have a front come through and it's going to blow it out. But what if you're in Vancouver or Oregon or Washington or California, or Idaho, where you went? Isn't that the photo behind you, Ron?
Yeah, this is Colorado, but
Colorado. Sorry.
Yeah, this
Colorado.
was a trip out west, and it actually got worse. We rode up into that and then went north and stayed in it for 2 weeks. So
now imagine that for weeks and weeks covering your yard. That's a different story because now you're getting ash. As you said, you were camping and you woke up and there's ash everywhere. Well, if it covers your plants, it's covering the stomata, which is the openings that pass pass gas. They do though. Carbon dioxide comes in, oxygen goes out.
Right.
But also moisture. And if you've got ash covering that, the plant will not be able to photosynthesize properly. So if you're dealing with this every day, one of the things you have to do is keep the leaves of the plant clean. So you have to wash them, probably
rinse them off with a hose, whatever.
Yes, spray with a hose to make sure they're clean enough so that the plant can intake carbon dioxide, exhale oxygen, and
feed the fire.
And what?
Create oxygen to feed the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing you might want to consider in that case, if it's even in the case of Chicago, where we had just a little bit of it, there might be some ash on it, on your plants, especially if you have fruiting bodies like tomatoes or cucumbers or whatever. So a good idea is to wash it when you bring it in. Most of the time, your produce is not going to be affected by this kind of a haze or smoke. Where it does, the one plant that is affected by it is grapes.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Grapes, they somehow absorb the smokiness and it goes into the wine and it makes it
gives a nice smoky flavor.
Well, no, it makes you think you're drinking from an ashtray, basically. But even the grape growers in the Midwest, I think, are not going to suffer that much from this. Obviously, California is a different story altogether.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting this year because they got pounded with rain over the winter.
Right. And they don't have very many fires going on out there right now, I don't think, because they had enough moisture. I don't think there's a lot of fires going on. Everything's happening from Canada and blowing down versus like in the past where Idaho and Northern California and Colorado were burning. So
yeah. Oh, and the other thing, there's a byproduct of the ash that comes down, and you guys know this. It has nutrients in it. There's potassium and magnesium and phosphorus, calcium. Some people burn wood and put the ashes on their soil and mix it in. Of course, you don't want to do that with treated wood. See, the problem is if it's coming just from a forest, it might not be so harmful but if the factory next to the forest caught fire and all of that stuff is burning and then blowing into your yard, that's a different problem.
Got it. So the ash, that was going to be my next question. The ash is beneficial to the soil and for the plants?
It can be, yeah. It's got nutrients in it, and there are people who recommend you treat. And one of the things it does is it increases the alkalinity of your soil. So if you have acidic soil, ash will increase the alkalinity. Here's the problem: in Chicago, our soil is already alkaline, so we really don't want the ash. I don't know about where you are in Florida.
We don't have soil. Everything, we just grow grass on top of sand.
But yeah, it's true. It is hard to grow stuff in sand. You have to get nutrients in there somehow. But in places of the country where the soil is acidic, yeah, it might be actually beneficial to have a little bit of ash on your soil or mixed in to your soil.
Interesting. So should we be watering these plants more or less, or
we should be watering these plants because we're in the middle of a drought. That's the problem. Okay. You know, we're not in the heat dome, but anybody who pays attention to that sort of thing in the Midwest knows that we are in a severe drought. In Chicago, we're down, what, about 6 inches of rainfall?
Yeah, that's what I'd heard last.
Now, I guess we're supposed to have some this weekend. I don't want to date this video too much, but it still takes when you're down that far, it takes a lot to ease the situation. So as a result, especially when it comes to trees, especially new trees, you need to keep an eye on the water and give them the equivalent of an inch of rain per week, depending on the temperatures. And given that our temperatures have been mild, that's probably about right. If you get into the 90s, then they need more water. But that is the thing. It really doesn't have anything to do with the smoke and ash. It has to do with the fact we're just in a drought area right now, and so is a lot of the Midwest. Generally, if you look at our area and the drought we're having, a lot of the lawns have gone brown. But most of those are not dead; they're dormant.
Right.
And you just wait until the rain comes, and they'll green back up.
So so if we just take care of our plants pretty much as normal, even though we've got all this smoke and maybe this haziness, because it keeps blowing in and out. You know, it's like it clears up for a couple of days, it gets dark again. So I guess
I would suggest that we don't really have enough of it. It hasn't been that bad. If you want to hose down your plants as a precaution, I don't have a problem with that. Mostly, I would say make sure your vegetables are watered well enough, and your trees especially. And the best way to do that is with a drip hose, not a sprinkler.
All right, I'd say with that, I'd go out, water, sprinkle your plants, make sure that they are washed and cleaned, and don't worry about the smoke.
Food, don't worry about too much. Well, except also don't go out when there's a lot of smoke and garden, because you're exerting yourself, and take care of yourself as well. You hose down anything you bring in, and then maybe wash it again inside for good measure. Right. If you're going to eat anything out of your yard, but that's just to be super cautious, because where we are here, I just don't think it's that big a problem.
With that, let's say keep it square and level.
Till next time.
Until next time. There you go. Come
Until
on, Mike.
next time.
Thanks, Mike.